Welcome to Beauty and the Gi, your podcast home for gripping conversations about Jiu Jitsu on and off the mat. I'm Jen Eads, a white belt full of curiosity that really misses being on the mat right now.
And I'm AJ Klingerman, a Brazilian Jiu Jitsu purple belt, still obsessed with Jiu Jitsu, which is really hard since we can't really do it.
That's good that you're still obsessed.
Yeah. So I can't do it at all right now because I hurt my neck really bad. So I can't even drill or anything, which is dumb. But I've been watching a ton of instructionals and taking notes and that kind of stuff. So at least there's that.
That's good. That's promising.
Yeah.
This episode is inspired by the first episode of Brené Brown's new podcast. It's called Unlocking Us. And her first episode was all about what she calls the FFTs. And it's about struggle and awkwardness of doing something for the first time. And spoiler alert, that F is not for fun. It's for beep first times. See, I just made the edit there so I don't have to go back and do it later.
That's talent. That's such a professional.
Totally.
We were renaming it in the car, like difficult first time. She even has like a kid's version that's like terrible first time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we were thinking of other options, keeping it clean.
Right. I'm just going to go with beeping first times.
I said like freaking first time would be, that's fairly acceptable.
Yeah, I think so. It was funny because as I was listening to her episode, as I was walking the dog last week, I kept thinking about all of the awkward, weird, frustrating first times of jiu-jitsu and how like they still keep coming. But I thought about shrimping for the first time. And so last night while we're online, we're on our Zoom and we're doing the solo drills. That stupid EOS drill, I still, that is still an awkward, horrible, horrible struggle for me. And then, there's all of the other struggles and first times.
Oh, yeah.
Jiu-jitsu.
Well, and for anyone that doesn't know, EOs are sometimes referred to as like a side shrimp too. So if you don't know what that is, look it up because it is torture for starters. Right. It's a great ab workout. But it's, something we try to add into our either warm-ups if we're, in real life or, we've been doing them in our solo drills and stuff. So good amount of suck.
Yeah. So if you are finding this after the time of social distancing and whatever we're calling what we're experiencing right now, we're not really on the mat. So one of the things that you and I were talking about when we were talking about this episode is one of the first times for a lot of people right now is trying to do jiu-jitsu online and using Zoom and things like that.
Yeah, it's been interesting. And I'm amazed, like, the difference. There's definitely been two sides here. Like, there's been the jiu-jitsu schools that have just embraced it and like, okay, this is what we're going to do during this time. And there have been a lot that have just like hit the pause button. We'll get back together when we can get back together. In the meantime, just take this time off. But, so for us, we've been doing 2 Zoom classes a day. And it's great. Like, I love watching James teach them. I've actually not been the uke for the past 2 weeks because, again, I hurt my neck. So thank God for Risser. Risser came in and tagged in for me. And I'm like, I want to be healthy again so that I can train. But also I really enjoyed, watching the two of them.
Oh, I'm sure.
They're hilarious together. So, but, like James does a great job of like telling people how to do it by themselves and how to go through it. And then he gets to watch the people and kind of help them, hey, see, that right hand needs to go a little more up or whatever. So it's been good. And it's been fun to like really watch people and see how they are improving. Like we have a lot of people that are really improving because there's not all of the other distractions. There's not the distraction of all your other friends on the mat or people coming into the school or your kids or, definitely some people's kids are still a distraction. They're pets. The pets is the biggest distraction.
Oh, yeah. Everybody loves to make an appearance.
I love it. It's my favorite part, seeing everybody's animals. But it's funny to watch like the dogs attack people while they're trying to drill.
Oh, yeah. It's really super enjoyable.
Yeah. Moose, still is able to tell time very well. So like typically at the end of class, when we do like the screenshot class picture, Moose will come down just like he would come out to bow out at the end of class. He's like, this is my moment, right?
Yeah, he knows. Totally.
Yeah. Yeah. But, it's been hard for people, again, like you said, it's that first time thing, just getting comfortable with it. And I think, the longer that we've been in this stay at home, stay safe, social distance thing, the more people that are starting to join us, because the more people that are like, okay, I've had 3 weeks off or whatever, I'm ready to find some way to train in some capacity.
Even for me, just having the solo drills, that's all that I've shown up to. I don't know why I haven't actually joined a class yet. Couldn't tell you.
You should.
I know. I absolutely should, especially since we're talking about them on the podcast. I have not done them. But I still feel just like I don't know. I don't know what my little mental hang up is about going to class on Zoom. And I think the main reason that I show up for solo drills is just because I do miss everyone so much.
Yeah.
And I think the other piece is maybe I'm just kind of lazy. That's just where I am right now.
Yeah.
Because I don't like to run. I don't like to lift. I don't like to do other exercises that I would normally do by myself.
Right.
I like Jiu Jitsu.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I understand that. I do enjoy lifting. I've really, I do enjoy it. I hate riding a bike. I mean, like if I could like actually go out and ride a bike, great. Coasting, wind in my hair kind of thing.
Yeah.
Cheater stuff. I like that. But riding the stationary bike is like the death of me. I hate it so much. But that's about all I've done since I hurt my neck. So I'm trying to do what I can, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
But, it's good, like, because you have more friends, like we do the solo drills and the ones we do are just the team girls. And then the others we do have been open up. So you're kind of getting to see people. But I think a little more like when you do the classes, you get to see people a little bit more. You get to talk a little bit more. James is there, so he gets to tell stories, which is always one of my favorite parts. It just makes it feel more normal, like it's still James just being ridiculous and
right.
It's kind of fun.
I'll be coming to class. I'll be coming back soon.
All right. Let's tangent on Brené Brown for a minute.
Okay.
Just in case any of our audience like lives under a rock.
Okay. Yes.
Because we're both fairly, maybe mildly obsessed with her. Yes.
Yeah, I would say yes. Yeah.
How'd you first find out about her?
I think I first heard her on maybe Oprah's Super Soul podcast.
Yeah.
So it's been a while. I think I heard her on that like before I ever read any of her books or anything. And I was like, oh, I like this girl.
Yeah. Yeah. I had kind of heard of her, but like the first real solid memory I have is like that Netflix special.
Oh, yeah.
Which then made me go back and watch her TED Talk. And so since all of the COVID stuff, we did a book club with me and Risser and a couple of our friends, and then my sisters and my mom, and did it all through Zoom. We'd read a couple chapters and meet on a Sunday night and talk about it. We read Daring Greatly. And it caused some very intense conversations and some real deep looks into like who we are as people and how we identify. And it was great and terrible all at the same time.
I think that's just her.
Yeah, absolutely. It is. She really holds up a mirror for you. Yeah, like let's dive into this. And I think a book club was the best way I could have consumed that book, though, because, just reading it, you kind of take it in. But like when you get together with the people closest to you and you have a conversation about it, because there would be some points where I'd be like, I didn't really relate to this section. And they'd be like, what about this part? And I'm like, oh, yeah, that is me, huh? So it was really good to do it that way. I highly recommend it.
I'm glad to hear that because I started reading it. I think it was Daring Greatly. It was one of them. And I was like, it's It's okay.
Yeah.
I would just much rather listen to her talk about her work than read it, because I just feel like number one, I just love to hear her tell stories.
Oh, yeah.
She paints such a picture in the FFT episode when she's talking about standard issue 90s breakup bangs.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I know those bangs. Yeah. I know those girls.
Yep. And she's just so real. As you know, she's very intelligent. She will call you on your stuff, whatever. But,
yeah,
you know, listening to her, she's so super real. And, you know, she's like, don't call me the poster child for vulnerability because I don't like being vulnerable. I hate it. I'm just, you know, I understand the importance of it. So I also listened to her interview with Alicia Keys. And
I haven't heard that one yet.
Oh my gosh. I didn't know I wanted to read that book until I listened to that. Like Alicia has a book out. And one of the first things she said, Brene said, was I knew I'd learn a lot about you reading this book. I had no idea how much I'd learn about myself.
Oh, that's interesting.
And Alicia was like, can I quote you on that? Right. She was like, that's amazing. So yeah, I've done a lot more reading during this time, which has been nice. And I've probably ordered like 10 books throughout. That's what I've spent, you know, the most money on during this lockdown is like buying new books.
Yeah, I've just been working.
That's good.
I should probably read more.
Yeah, no, I mean, getting work done is important too. I also
It is. It's nice.
I wrote 2 books in this time. I mean, I wrote an ebook and then I just finished a book that I started last year. So got those out. Well, one's in editing. One is being sold. I've sold several copies already of the ebook.
Are we going to have links to that in the show notes?
We could.
I think we will. What's it about? What are you writing about?
The ebook I wrote is 6 side hustles to stimulate the economy. Shoot, I don't know what it's called. They changed the title so many times. That's the idea, though. Stimulate your bank account and the economy.
Okay.
And then the book that I finished was on newsletters. So despite the fact that I've been teaching business owners for, I don't know, 8 years or something now, I had never written a business book. So these are my first 2 business books. And the newsletter one, even though it sounds like a very boring subject, I'm pretty proud of. I think it's going to be pretty decent.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Now I have to decide what's next. I have about 30 different subjects I want to write books on. So
I'm not even surprised by that.
Of course not.
I'm just practicing instruments and making podcasts. That's pretty much it.
I started guitar lessons last week.
That's very exciting.
I'm learning Melissa Etheridge's Shaking. That was my first request.
Nice. So what are your FFTs with guitar?
Risser's husband's teaching us.
Okay.
And Risser plays instruments already. And John has like a perfect ear for it. And so I have never played anything other than the recorder in the 4th grade or 5th grade or whatever.
Sweet.
So my biggest FFT was just that I wouldn't be able to keep up with them and that I would be kind of a drag, like a letdown. It's going okay so far. Like they're being fine. John really thought we'd get through that whole song the first night. Boy, was that a surprise. I was like, no, because he was like, what other songs do you want to learn? I was like, you are overestimating my ability to learn the first one.
So this is where we do the reality checking expectations with everyone involved.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. So I was like, you're going to have to slow that down a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're just starting. The fingers, like the way your fingers feel when you play guitar is really interesting. Glad I'm not also working Spider Garden this time.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Lots of calluses.
Yeah. I kind of like
make
it.
Your jiu-jitsu better.
Yeah. It's really interesting. I can't stop like pushing on my fingers because it feels weird.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
Yeah. So it's been fun. I'm excited to like be able to play a whole song. And someday I want to be able to sing the words while I play, but that seems very difficult at this point.
Yeah, that takes a while. That is a lot of, what's the word? Because I don't even have words anymore. Coordination.
Yeah.
That's going to be like me singing and doing jiu-jitsu. Is you singing and playing guitar. It's basically the same thing.
Well, all right.
Yeah. Yeah, perfectly. Except nobody's trying to triangle you while you're playing guitar, usually.
That's true. I sent my mom a video of me practicing the first day, like after John left. And she said, "You look like a dancer watching your feet while you're practicing." I was like, yep.
Oh, yeah. That's so funny. So let's talk about the FFT. Like, what happens when we do actually get back on the mat? What do you think that's going to look like?
Man, who knows? I mean, really, like it's so hard to tell. We've gone through a lot of different thoughts about what it could look like, like will it, I don't think that it'll just open back up and we'll be back in classes, but I also don't know, I just don't know. I don't know what they're going to advise under the like phases, which we don't even know here in Indiana if they're going to do those phases. Like we literally are just in this holding point. But under those phases that they announced, actual jiu-jitsu couldn't happen until phase 3.
Oh, wow.
So because phase 1, gyms can open up, but you still have to social distance.
Uh-huh.
Well, it's going to be real difficult for jiu-jitsu.
Right.
And so we've talked about a few different ways that we could do that. We talked about, and these are just us brainstorming. Like we could tape off the mat. Yeah. And you could reserve your square 6 feet away from everyone else. And we'd have solo drills for a class. Or we would have, bring your own dummy in for a class. Or like if you have a partner that is your partner and, you guys have agreed that's it. That's the only person you're training with. Then the two of you could, like we could do different classes where it was different things.
Yeah.
And that's just, like I said, that's just us brainstorming. We also talked about like, if it were nice enough, everybody could bring their little square of mats out into our yard and we could just, we have 2 acres. Like that's plenty of room for social distancing. And James could be like, all right, do this.
I'll bring some PA. It'll be fine. We'll totally be able to hear him.
Yeah, exactly. James is loud. He's fine. Right. And if he's not loud enough, I sure am.
Oh, yeah. We don't even need a PA.
Right? Never. Yeah. So, I mean, we've talked about a lot of different things. We do masterminds with a lot of school owners. I have one coming up today that is with like Emily Kwok and Annette Stack and actually coaches from all over the world. So we're just going to brainstorm what this looks like and how to best serve our community. And I don't know, it's going to be tough.
As we were doing the drills last night, I was kind of wondering, so when we do actually get back and we get to compete, I wonder if we'll all be so used to being in these like confined little spaces that it's going to change how we actually roll. Like we won't be rolling all over the place. It
might for a minute, but I think we have more muscle memory in taking up space.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that it might in the very beginning, but I don't know that would last.
Yeah.
So it's tough. Like all of it is, I mean, we won't know what to do until we're just doing it. And we won't know if we're on the right side of history with it until it's all over.
That's true.
Like there's no way of being like, we're definitely doing the right thing. It's just going to be, doing the best we can.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and one of the things that we should probably actually talk about too is in the Brene episode, she talks about like how you actually know when you're going through an FFT and kind of the process for handling that. And I feel like maybe we should touch on that just for a minute. So the first thing that you do is actually recognize it like, oh, yeah, this is awful because I've never done it before.
Right.
And then kind of normalize it just by talking about it. Like, oh, yeah, I'm about to compete for the first time. No wonder I want to go throw up.
Right. Although it doesn't have to just be the first time that you want to throw up when you compete.
That's true.
I guess then you can be like, well, it's the first time that I've done it with this amount of stripes or with this, with these opponents or, whatever. And it can always be the first time that it looks just like that, at least.
Right.
But yeah, I liked that she was saying that naming it as, that first time doesn't give it power. It gives you power. Like just recognizing it and being like, all right, this is the first time. It's okay if it's awkward. It's okay if it's uncomfortable. It's okay if it's scary. It's the first time. We just have to get through it. And then we have something to base everything else off of.
Yeah. I also liked how she talked about reality checking expectations, not just for yourself, but for everyone else that's involved in it. And I think that really probably won't apply to competition so much. I don't know that you're going to go reality check with who you're going to compete against, but
maybe not the people you compete against, but maybe like your family who's never seen jiu-jitsu and they're coming to watch you for the first time. Like, so maybe with them, you kind of manage expectations like, hey, you know, I don't know how this is going to go.
Yep.
Just so you know, I could get beat up. It's okay. Yep. I get beat up all the time. That's jiu-jitsu.
Exactly. Put it into perspective.
Exactly. It's fine. It's just part of it.
Yeah. I've done some of that with Beth.
Yeah.
Getting her used to coming to watch. Because I think if they don't see it every day, it's weird.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I did an interview recently. I don't think it's out yet, but the interview was basically on like masculinity. But they were talking about, you know, like jiu-jitsu being inherently violent. And I was like, I just don't think about it that way. And they were talking about like they come into jiu-jitsu to get that aggression out. And I was like, I don't think so. Like, I think like aggression is part of stress and you're getting that stress out. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
You're not coming in like to beat somebody up. You're coming in because, you know, it's a good stress reliever. So it was just interesting, really like, you know, because like how outside people see it as being an aggressive thing. And it's not necessarily.
Right. Well, I mean, when you look at me, you immediately think, oh, that's the face of aggressiveness right there.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
Especially you. Yeah. Especially when you're wearing a cute little dress. Like most people don't really know what could happen to them.
Back up, you know, several years ago, and we went through this phase where all of the coaches were like, you just need to be more aggressive. You need to get more mean. You need to like, they were just getting on me that I wasn't being aggressive enough. And so one tournament I go in like, I'm going to murder everyone. And I'm getting all like jacked up and like mad, and worst tournament I've ever had in my entire life.
Really?
It was awful. I don't even remember what happened in the tournament. Like I couldn't point out my opponents that I fought that day. It was a terrible experience. And I was like, that's not me at all.
Yeah.
I'm not that angry, aggressive person. And so that's not my jiu-jitsu. So,
yeah. Yeah. I could totally see that.
Yeah. A little tangent there, but
you know what? That's what happens these days.
Right.
I'm just excited to talk to another human that doesn't live in my house.
Well, at least that human bakes you cookies.
That's true. That's true. Not good for my gi, but awfully nice for me. So this seems like a good thing to talk about. Let's talk about an FFT coming back from an injury and training for the first time.
I feel like this is like the story of my life. I have some experience with this. You know, there's a lot of different things to it. I've seen a lot of people come back very scared, right? Like they remember getting hurt. They don't want that to happen again. And so they're, you know, if it was a neck injury, then they don't want you to touch their neck at all.
Yeah.
Even if they're 100% fine, 100% healed, they just have that trauma from it. And then there's someone like me who just becomes an idiot. And I'm just like, it's fine. I'm fine. Go ahead. It's fine.
No.
I mean, that's just who I am. It's somewhere in the middle of that is a lot better.
How do you find that happy medium?
Ooh, it's tough. Well, I have a good person checking me on it, so that's helpful.
Yes, that's true.
I have Risser yelling at anyone that like touches an injury. Like, I will murder you if you break her. It's always helpful.
And it's funny that it's not even James.
Oh,
it's
no.
Risser.
No, James is probably most likely to do it. He forgets so much. We were playing games the other night, and we were playing like why can't I think of the word? You know, the game where you act things out.
Charades?
Charades. Good Lord. Good Lord. Thank you. We were playing charades, and it was like grapple or wrestling or something. And he started to attack me and Rissa was like, she has a neck injury. Oh my gosh. So he never remembers. So yeah, he gets threatened just as much.
Oh, that's too funny.
But, a couple things. One, for me, even when I'm injured, I'm still on the mat. And that was me before I was a coach too. I was there taking notes. I like to, while there's rolling going on, just watch two people that I can be like, okay, I'm going to pretend I'm Jen through this. What would I do there? What is she doing well? Like any of that stuff. Like I try and put myself in that place. So then when I start doing things again, coming back from that injury, I didn't miss that time of jiu-jitsu. I still had that mat time. I still learned things in that time.
Right.
So yeah, so that makes it a lot easier from that standpoint. And then it is a little bit about coming back slowly. Maybe at first you're just drilling and you're only drilling things that you can do. Like with a neck injury, okay, let's drill 50-50 and leg attacks, that's, and if that's not the curriculum, then I'm sitting and I'm taking notes. But if I can, choose what I'm drilling, that I'm drilling things that passing or something that's not hurting my neck more. And then it's just building up, coming back, a light roll with somebody you really trust, being slow and patient about it. I am not a patient person, but
no,
I try.
I know it's a struggle for you.
I'm so ready to roll right now. It's insane. I can't take it.
Yeah. What's another FFT for jiu-jitsu?
The first time going to any other, like another school. Or, around here, we rotate between a few different schools for women's competition training, or like a camp or something like that. So going into that new atmosphere, I think is a big one. And so, there's a lot of different things. One, if you can take a buddy, always great. A lot of times you'll know someone once you get there.
Yeah.
One thing I've been trying to really focus on is when I go into a new place, immediately going up and introducing myself to everyone. Because everybody there feels just as uncomfortable as you do. So they may feel more comfortable if it's their school. At least, they're comfortable with their mat and stuff, but there's still a lot of new people coming in that they don't know. So, if I can go up and introduce myself, then it's made us both feel more comfortable.
Right.
Also, just one of those dumb things, smiling helps. Just like if you literally think about smiling and do it without looking like a crazy person, if possible, then, I think it helps like mentally, but also it kind of takes away that like RBF. And so people are more likely to approach you as well. So I think, and like the shrimping, anything like that, forward rolls, inverting for the first time, you just have to let go and know that it's going to be weird. It's going to be awkward. Those like break dancing things that we do in the solo drills.
I can't even imagine what I look like.
And it doesn't matter, right? Like, who cares? The first time,
AJ, it totally matters.
It doesn't. I'm telling you, it really doesn't. The first time that I tried to teach them, I was like, I can't even get to it. I don't even know what I'm supposed to be doing. And then, like I said, I found it and I was like, oh, okay, this is it. And then I lost it again. I was like, nope, that's not it anymore. What happened? But it's just, like now it's one of my favorite drills to do. So
I'm still waiting for it to click.
Yeah, you just have to know that it's okay for it to be awkward and weird and uncomfortable.
And I think it's even more weird trying to not hit the couch or the wall.
Right.
While you're doing it.
Yep.
It's one thing to try to not hit your teammates, but
yeah. Yeah. I'm always worried I'm going to like roll back and hit the stairs because like our mats are like up against our basement stairs. I'm like, one of these times I'm going to crack my head right on that first stair. Like, oh, AJ's unconscious. Just how I picture it.
Right. That's okay. Moose can take over training.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
Yeah.
He'll be out. He'll run away so fast. He's scared of everything.
Let's talk about rolling with a higher belt for the first time.
Okay. You should talk about that first.
I should talk about that. Okay.
Just because
I get to do that.
It's very normal for me at this point, right? Like,
Right.
So you're a lot closer to that, what it was like to roll at the higher rank the first time.
Because everyone's higher rank than me.
Yeah. I mean, really, like, not now. Now you have some rank on people, but it wasn't that long ago that, all the options were higher.
That's true. Now I've got my 2 stripes on my white belt. And I still get just, I can't even talk about it because I'm nervous just thinking about it.
Do you?
Oh my God, I hate it.
Like with anybody? Like, do you hate rolling
Pretty
with
much
me?
with anybody.
You're allowed to say
I
yes.
don't.
It's okay.
No, actually I don't. I just know that you'll start singing and I'll be like, oh my God, I'm doing absolutely nothing here. Nothing. I don't even know what I'm doing. I feel like my head just goes completely empty. Anything that I knew about jiu-jitsu runs away, scurries out of my brain.
So, everyone should know that I don't sing to be a jerk.
Well, okay, it was at Christmas time, so it was Christmas carols.
Yeah.
So you were really just spreading joy
I was
on the
spreading
mats.
joy. That's what I do. And I've probably talked about it before, but for one, singing helps me breathe. But also, I may be a jerk by singing because I'm a terrible singer. So it may be a way to get you to tap out. I don't know. But it keeps me calm. I love music. I love listening to music. So I have a playlist for everything. And you can usually guess my mood by what playlist is playing at the school. So singing helps me with my jujitsu. Like it helps me feel calm. It helps me like just work from like muscle memory a little bit and not overthink stuff. It just, keeps it fun for me. So I always recommend, and, backing up to when like you were having some issues with panic, I'm like, who's your favorite, singer, band, whatever. Let's put that on. Let's put that on so you can like sing while you're trying to do jujitsu. So it kind of takes you out of that fight or flight and just kind of into, oh, this is music. I love music. Let's just move.
Yeah, it's much easier when you think about it that way. And it's not all higher belts. It's mostly just like people I don't know.
Yeah.
I really enjoy rolling with higher belts at the school, like Risser and Andrea and Valerie, because I learn so much when I roll with them.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what really, we can drill and we can do the stuff. But when you actually put it into practice with somebody that's a higher rank, I'm like, oh, and then you screw it up. I think I learned faster on things not to do.
Yeah.
By rolling with them because, if I put an arm, if I just put it out there, I know really, really bad things are going to happen.
Yep. You're in someone's guard and you grab up on their collar and they're like, I'm
like, oh, no. And then as soon as I do it, I'm like, no. I feel like I see it in slow motion as soon as I do it.
Well, and most likely they'll do it in slow motion, right? So really, like typically, so let's take a big mistake everyone makes is they put one leg up outside of your guard, right? So I'm on my back, I have guard, they put a leg up and I'm like, I'm going to tuck under for a pendulum sweep. And then I do it like the slowest motion possible so that like you'll get your leg back. Right. And then because I always say it's my job to make it harder and harder and harder. Right. So I'll come after it a little faster as you've, done it 20 times in a round or something. Not you, anybody. But
no, probably me.
But really like that's what I like about going with the higher ranks is that a lot of times they give you that little bit of like, oh, hey, I'm going to take this arm. If you do that, like, so, and even if they don't say it out loud, but they kind of like lock it up, like, you want to try to take this back?
Oh, yeah, there's definitely a look. Especially Risser. Risser has a look.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Like, are you sure you want to do that?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So that I do really learn a lot from the higher belts.
Yeah. Yeah. And you say there's like fear in it. I tend to think that there's less fear in rolling with higher belts because they're safer, because they know what they're doing. So me, like I would think if I were a white belt, I'd have more fear in rolling with new white belts than I do with higher ranks.
I think my fear is more fear of looking stupid than actual fear of
getting hurt,
getting injured. Yeah.
Dang, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I probably just know I look stupid, so like, whatever.
I mean, I'm totally getting used to it now. Like I don't know that I'm ever going to, look cool doing jiu-jitsu. I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that.
Exactly. I don't really do anything in my life to look cool. So
yeah,
you're already super cool. You're like a freaking rock star. So you have enough cool points that you could not be cool in jiu-jitsu.
Okay. All right.
It'll balance out for you.
Okay. Thanks for that little boost.
And anytime you feel dumb in jiu-jitsu, you could be like, you want to see me play an instrument? Because I'm really awesome.
Hold, I'm going to go get my ukulele.
Bring it in your jiu-jitsu bag.
Can you imagine?
We're nuts.
Yeah, because that's what happens at this point when
I love the idea though of like me beating you up in jiu-jitsu and then you playing me a song afterwards. Like
right. I think that's probably what's going to happen the first time we get back on the mat.
I would love that. I would feel very rewarded in getting to beat you up. I don't know if this is playing out right for you.
Wait, what happened to the expectation that I'm going to go out and I'm going to do a good job?
You're going to do great. I'm like, it's going to be interesting to see everyone's ability when we come out of this. Like my cardio is trash. Like even teaching solo drills last night, like I was doing a few and I was like,
yeah, I'm dying after some of those.
So yeah, we're all going to be a little dead. It's going to be fine.
Oh yeah. I'm just looking forward to the day that when we're all back together on the mat.
Me too.
That will be a glorious FFT.
Right? Yeah. It'll be good. I miss hugging all my friends.
Yeah. I miss getting choked by all mine.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Are we supposed to have an on and off the mat tip? What do we even say?
Oh, yeah. So off the mat tip for this week is listen to the Brené Brown episode on FFTs. We will have a link to that in the show notes to make it super easy for you.
And our on the mat tip is to try singing while you do jiu-jitsu, solo drills, or not.
And you can connect with us on Instagram at Beauty and the Gi Podcast. We're on Twitter at Beauty and the Gi. Sometimes we're there hanging out, mostly on Instagram. I want to know what you all thought of the FFT episode. So what I'm going to ask is that you either screenshot that episode or screenshot this episode that you're listening to and tag us in it on Instagram and let us know what you thought about it, or just send us a DM on Instagram.
Yeah. Although if you tag us, we usually share that in our stories too. So
exactly. And you can also, for more jiu-jitsu drills, go to our YouTube channel, Beauty and the Gi on YouTube.
Yep, absolutely. And you can find us on Facebook. We have a group called Beauty and the Gi Gang and a page called Beauty and the Gi Podcast, which we always appreciate. There've been a few people that have like asked what podcast should I listen to, and people have been tagging us in that. So I really appreciate those tags.
Yeah, same. And we will see you
on the mat.
The mat.
It's so hard to stay together through Zoom.